Francesco Attesti. I'm talking to you from Italy. I am in Tuscany at the moment. It's a beautiful region in the center of Italy. So my life is concertizing around the world, and it's one of the first time that I'm using a laptop device to give a lesson to a crowd, a young student expecting. Today we are going to talk a little bit about classical music and especially about the piano, the classical piano. I am a classical pianist, so this is the reason why. The origin of classical music we can date back to more than 1,000 years ago. Let's define what does it mean classical music. Classical music refers to a tradition of music that goes around the Western area, the Western country. It means Europe and North America. And we can date back to 1,000, something like that, years ago, starting from the 10th century, 10th, 11th century, up to today. The music of the last century, this century of course, it is considered to be modern music. So when you are listening to names like Bach, Mozart, Chopin, Rachmaninoff, and even Gershwin or Bernstein, we can say that they are classical composers. So this is the idea. So it is a tradition of music that is very, let's say, complicated to compose, and you need a lot of skills to perform it. But usually it follows very strict kind of rules, both in composition and in interpretation. So today we are starting this little trip, this little journey into classical music and also jazz music, and I'm giving my word to Vel.
Okay. You've heard the expression Bach to soul. This is what we are using for our theme of the concert that Mr. Jernigan spoke about on May 6th. Anyone know the full name of Mr. Bach? Probably not. Okay. His name is Johann Sebastian Bach. And we are using Mr. Bach as an example to explain the classical music that he composed and how modern composers and artists that you might have heard about have utilized those techniques and skills of classical music into modern day music that is known as jazz, which is what I focus on. So I'm going to mention a few names of people that you may have heard about. If you haven't, I'm sure your parents may have. But some of these guys that I'm going to mention are actually friends of mine. And I'll start off by one of the most popular jazz artists. His name is Wynton Marsalis. I actually went to a concert here in Houston a few months ago with Wynton's father. His name is Ellis Marsalis Sr., and he has sons, Branford Marsalis, Ellis Marsalis Jr., and Delfeo Marsalis, and they've all studied classical music. But getting back to Wynton Marsalis, he's recorded 11 classical records, and he currently serves as a professor at Cornell University, but he plays jazz music on trumpet. Another person that you may have heard of is Herbie Hancock. Herbie has been very popular in the modern music that we know today, and he has won 14 Grammy Awards. And he's a graduate of college with a double degree, not just one degree. He has a degree in music and also in electrical engineering. This is an area that I know you're probably studying here with classes that we are involved with right now. And he graduated from Cornell College. Another person who actually is a very personal, close friend of mine, his name is Stanley Clark. Stanley Clark is a bassist who graduated from Philadelphia Musical Academy. And just to give you a little background on me as well, I am from Philadelphia, and Stanley Clark and I went to school together. He received his doctorate degree from Philadelphia Musical Academy in 2001. And like I said, we went to school together. He was in the jazz band in high school with me, and we had various competitions with our jazz bands playing lots of standard jazz pieces. And for those of you who don't know as well, I am an international recording artist. I've traveled all over the world with many different artists. My last boss was a person by the name of Dionne Warwick. I'm sure a lot of you may not have heard about her, but you might know her cousin, Whitney Houston. So just to give you an example of some of the opportunities that you can experience as you learn more about music, learn more about your own desires, whether it be engineering or technology. And last but not least, Mr. John Coltrane, who is a very famous saxophonist, also studied classical music and plays jazz. And on that note, I will turn it back over to Francesco.
So, is any of you familiar with the mechanic of the piano, of a classical piano? Have you ever seen the mechanic of a piano instrument like this? No. Okay. Today I'm going to explain you a little bit about the mechanic and the history of this wonderful instrument that I'm sure you are familiar with because you see it many times on TV shows, performances, and so on. The piano was invented first around 700, probably in 1698 in Florence by an Italian. His name was Bartolomeo Cristofori, and it was not originally from Florence, but it was coming from a wonderful city that is Venice. Venice in Italy, of course, the beautiful Venice that is surrounded by water, and it has streets actually only made by water. It was a superpower in the Middle Age and the Renaissance period as one of the most important cities in the Mediterranean Sea. It was extremely rich because it was full of merchants and people that were trading with the East and the Middle East. And there were a lot of artists. That artist went to Florence because he was offered a position as a musician at the court of Medici. Medici family was the most important and strongest, the most powerful family in Florence at that time. So Bartolomeo Cristofori started to work to several instruments. He had the harpsichord that we are going also to see and to study with the next meeting. But he was interested to create his own new instrument, an instrument with hammers and strings that could play louder, and you could change literally the sounds using a different pressure on the keys. Now, what they have done here, it is to show you better what is going on in the instrument. I have completely, one second, I try to, yes, I tried completely to the piano and bring out all the mechanics. As you can see here, you have the keys that you usually play and the mechanic with the hammer. This hammer is going to hit the string when you press a key. So you press the key and the hammer goes up and it does that kind of movement. So in the piano there is no electricity at all. You don't use any sort of device. There is just a hammer covered with felt that is going to hit a string. The strings inside the piano, this one, as you can see, and these are made by iron. There are shorter strings in the upper part, as you can see, and thicker and longer strings. They form a sort of a cross because they need to have more space, and crossing the strings, you can imagine that such complicated kind of mechanic needed a lot of work, needed a lot of experiments. And what we have today, it was not possible to have it immediately. The modern piano is possible just because many other technicians, engineers, built it up an instrument like we know it today. It takes more or less about 150 years. But there were great composers like Mozart, Beethoven, later Chopin and Liszt, that they developed their technique on the piano and they helped the engineer and the technicians to improve these instruments and make it more powerful, more expressive, and so on.
Let me ask if we can pause for a moment and ask if there's any questions so far.
Sweetheart, what's your name? Reginald, can you stand up so that they can see you? This is Reginald, and he has a question, a very brave soul.
Hi, Reginald.
Can you say hello?
Ciao, ciao.
Yay! Go ahead.
How long have you been playing the piano?
Did you hear? He said, how long have you been?
Yes. Wait, how old are you?
9.
How old are you?
9.
You didn't have to speak up.
9. So, I started at 6, more or less. Between 5 and 6. So, it's a lot of years now. More than about 35 years. I studied piano and I practice every day. So, it's a long way.
And I started playing when I was 10 years old. And I also sang, and I still sing. I actually have to sing in church tomorrow. And I've been playing for many years as well. I've actually lost count because it's been so long.
Don't let them fool you. They just don't want you to know how old they are.
Paul?
Paul, ciao.
How long who taught you to play the piano?
Who taught you to play the piano?
Yes. I started with the uncle. I had an uncle that actually was not a piano player, but he was an organist, like Vel, more or less. And I started with him. And after I had several teachers at the university, conservatory, and many other academies.
And I also had many private teachers when I started at 10 years old. And most of my original teachers were in the public schools. And I would go see my first teacher every Saturday morning. I would catch the bus down to a high school where she worked, and her name was Mrs. Goss. And then I moved to another teacher, Mr. Jacobs, Milt Myers, I'm sorry. He worked at a store called Jacob Brothers. And I was probably 11 or 12 then. And then I studied with him for a few years and went to another teacher, and that last teacher was named Dr. E. Woodley Kalehoff, and he was the organist for United States President Harry Truman. So he played organ for the president at the White House.
So, Johann Sebastian Bach, the great composer that we are referring to, is considered to be one of the greatest composers of the history of the music. He was born in 1685 and he died in 1750. So we are talking about 250 years ago, more or less, about 300 actually. And he was a skillful on organ music, harpsichord, but of course they are also playing his music also on the piano. So what I'm going to do, it is just to perform for you a small work, Johann Sebastian Bach. And while I'm putting in one piece the piano, Vel maybe could explain a little bit about the electric organ.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the organ that I play is made by a company called Hammond Organ Company. And this company has an office in Illinois, and they've been in existence since the 1930s. they build their organs in a special way, which is why I prefer to use these types of organs. This particular one is a portable organ, but as I learned and was taught organs and piano, the organs that I used were called consoles, and they were much larger. And one in particular that I'm known for playing is a model called a B3. When I originally started playing Hammond organs, the first organ I had was a model A1. And that particular organ was built in 1938. And then it was exhibited at the World's Fair in 1939. But it was the first one that they had ever built, and that's why they used the first letter of the alphabet, A, and then the number 1 for their original model. And I had one of those organs when I first started, and kept it probably for about 12 years. And then moved into the portable organs because those big organs are just really hard to lift and carry around, and I had to play with bands and go on tours. So I've now started using this type of organ. Notice the difference as we start playing these instruments between the sound of a piano versus the sound of an organ. Has anyone in the room ever heard an organ before? Oh, very good. Great. How many of you have heard pianos before? Very good.
I'm going to perform for you a little work by Bach, just to give you an idea of the kind of music that they played back 300 years ago.
So what'd you guys do? Was it pretty? Yes. Yes? Okay, now you get to hear something totally different from Mr. Bell.
I'm also going to play a piece by the same composer, Johann Sebastian Bach. And this will be what's called a prelude, which is more or less a beginning piece part because we don't have a whole lot of time. The one thing I'd like for you to do is to think about what you hear as you hear this piece and about what Francesco just played. And see if you notice anything that's familiar between the two songs. We'll talk about that the next time that we see you. Did I hear someone stop? Yeah, I'll start over.
I saw some of the kids moving to the music. Did you like that? All right. Weldon came up through the STEM program, and he too is a pianist. He's moved on to college, but he's super excited about being here. So maybe later you can connect with him and talk to him. Can you all say hi to Weldon? Hi.
Hola.
Weldon, can you come up here so you can say hi to the guys? You guys are known as the guys.
Hi. Okay.
You're gonna move over to your right a little.
Right there.
Yeah,
There you go.
Right here. So you kind of gotta,
you
creep down like that.
You don't see. You don't see. You.
Okay, there's.
Now we can, there you go.
So hopefully you'll get to meet Mr. Bell soon and Mr. Francesco soon enough. Okay? Thanks for being here. Give me a welcome again. Okay. Who has a question for Mr. Francesco? Okay, son, come on up here. What is your name? Noah. Okay, this is Noah. See, right there you go. Noah.
Noah. Ciao.
Hi, Noah.
Hi.
Can you say ciao? Is that
When did you get your first piano?
I got my first piano immediately after I started to study. I remember I started during the summer and I got my first piano for Christmas, to be honest. So after a few months.
Yay! Do you have a piano?
So this is a good idea. Christmas is very near, so ask for a piano.
Hey, come on up. Okay, what is your name? Okay, Cayman, they can't see. This is Cayman. How old are you?
Ciao.
He's 9. He's 9. Okay.
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 So. Oh, he has 3 questions.
Oh my god.
3 questions. Okay.
I'll just say one. Do you like playing the violin?
Do you?
Who's the question for? Is that for me, Bell, or for Francesco?
I don't play so much.
Francesco, do you like to play violin? Do you mean do you like playing the piano or does
I
he
can't
play
play the violin. I would love to, but I can't play the violin.
Well, I can say my brother started playing violin, and I think he was maybe 8 years started playing. He didn't keep up with it though. He decided to go play drums. So he now plays drums for my old boss, Miss Dionne Warwick. He's actually in Illinois right now doing a performance with her.